Hello all. While working with Shelly today, she appeared a little bit hesitant throughout the session. She disclosed to me after we had finished the recording, she felt very nervous with the camera being in the room. I noted while we were in session that Shelly continuously rubbed her thighs. She picked at her jeans. She didn't really make eye contact as much as she normally would in our session. I could appreciate that Shelly was open and honest about things that have occurred since we last met. I highlight that Shelly has not used any opiates since our last session. She did come in and she had prepared herself by asking for a dose increase. So, as an interventionist therapist, I had decided that it would be a good idea to have schedule a physician consultation. In addition, Shelly continues to live in the home with her husband, which she is currently separated from. I have an admiration that Shelly desires to look for employment so that she can live independently with the children. In trying to further understand Shelly and what she's going through, it is a good idea that Shelly seek the support of a mental health provider because she doesn't communicate very often what is really bothering her, as indicated in the video, with her family and friends, although she seeks their support. Shelly appears motivated to change as evidenced by her willingness to attend an appointment with the mental health provider, as well as have an appointment scheduled with the case manager at our agency and the peer support specialist. Those two individuals would be able to assist Shelly with locating employment, as well as assist her in scheduling appointments with a mental health provider and with some type of parenting group and things like that, where Shelly could gain some supports for her and the children. I do feel that at some point the children may need to possibly have some type of support services or a little bit of psychotherapy due to the amount of arguing they have experienced. They have visualized mom and dad in a negative stance, and with the separation possibly occurring sometime in the future, there may be some behavioral changes amongst the children due to the fact that mom and dad are no longer in the same home. Something that comes to mind when thinking about Shelly is the amount of violence in the home may be intergenerational because her and the husband aren't getting along and the children are visualizing this verbal violence. I think that there's a possibility of the children expecting this behavior to be normal. I fear that the children may blame themselves for the amount of stress that's placed in the home. Emotional and mental abuse happens in both children and adults. However, in both cases, mental abuse diminishes the person's self-worth. I feel that Shelly has some challenges with her self-worth because she's not working, she is collecting public assistance, and she doesn't have the finances or the resources for her to relocate without working or finding some type of employment. Signs and symptoms that I see of abuse in Shelly is one, her relationship difficulties and her feelings of worthlessness. I also note that Shelly has isolated herself in some cases, as indicated by her saying that she separates herself from her family and she doesn't really care to share what's going on in her life. She utilizes her family to assist her with the children. What I would like to highlight for Shelly is why is it important to build a personal support system. so that when things are not going well or she's just not feeling in a great space, she would have the persons in place to support and encourage her through those challenges. Trying it alone could be tough, and I understand that it's always going to be an uphill battle. Friends, on the other hand, have wisdom, they have experience, and they have insight that sometimes we can't see for ourselves. So before we get to the point where we experience difficulty or in anticipation of life's little setbacks, we should implement strategies or have a support system in place to help us through some of those rough spots. I would like to encourage Shelly to turn to her family and friends, because sometimes talking can just lift your spirits and take the weight off your shoulders. Having someone to listen to your concerns helps you feel more supported and understood, which could encourage Shelly to look at things differently. I'm trying to get Shelly by asking her to connect with the peer specialist and case manager to cultivate a variety of interests by attending, small little outings with the children or maybe the parents in class. This way, these activities can preoccupy Shelly when she needs a healthy distraction. They also can help her grow and develop. Therefore, it would be less time for her to stay down or be depressed too long. I eventually would like her to create a little quiet space or sanctuary for herself once she finds independent living, where in her home she could have like a corner to go to where she could think, maybe take a bubble bath with candles, listen to some soft music, maybe develop a library where the focus is on her. She may could go for a stroll in the park and enjoy the flowers, the trees and the birds, and connect with the surroundings. Rather than resorting to unhealthy outlets such as overeating, alcohol, opiates, other harmful substances, when she's down, I want to experience, or I'm sorry, I want to help Shelly find positive ways of expressing herself while at the same time building some resiliency. She would then be able to see that her support system guides her, teaches her, and coaches her to get where she wants to go and continue to achieve goals, eliminating the use of illicit substances, and she could see that she's invested in herself and her future. Some of the skills that I attempted to use in the video was the use of open and closed-ended questions, reflective listening, summarizing, eliciting responses from her, and affirmation. I think those are critical components of motivational interviewing, and I attempted to use those skills with Shelly throughout the video. Thank you for your time and your attention. Have a good day.